If there was ever a time to break out the prayer circle for us to get a #1 overall pick, right now is the time. It is time for the 2027 season. And just how will we do? Again, we're just going to leave training on auto for everybody. I feel like it's fine. I feel like the game does a pretty good job of focusing on the stats that it needs to focus on. So let's do it. God, this year, let's put the over under 20.5 wins again. Is 2 good players enough to get us to 21 wins or more? That is the question. And here we go. Let's auto fix the lineups. We lose both of our games to start the season, but here we go now. $14 million in bonus allotment. It might be ours. Do we finally have a #1 overall pick? Yes, we do. I mean, granted, we had one before in year 1. That technically counts. We had the one in year 1, but another #1 overall pick. We actually won the lottery this time. Whew. Thank God for that. And again, we get that extra 2nd round pick because we absolutely suck. So thank you, Major League Baseball. All right. So now, pressure's on to deliver with this pick, right? Pressure's on. We still have to scout out everybody. Again, we are not looking for anything in particular. We are just looking for the best player possible. We have to get this right. So let's take a look even at that closer because he might fall to the 2nd round. Closer, starter, and shortstop is where we're going to look. So that is week 1 as we beat Cincinnati for our only win of the season so far. I don't know if we'll be taking Henry Ramos 1st overall, but damn. It also really likes shortstop Don Marlin. Great name. Can't let him go to Florida. Again, we got to get everybody to a basic level to see who our scouts really like and then finish up the scouting process from there. Like I said, I don't really use scout position unless we're searching for a specific position because like it doesn't really serve us well at all to be like, oh, hey, let's make sure we have information about everybody. Like, no, we have a #1 pick. We have to get it right. I don't want to take any chances. All right, so Aaron Ramirez as a starter. Gotta remember, yeah, this is the dude that has to avoid pitchers. Who's the next position player? J.J. Hurley. And then we'll also look at Alex Zambrano. What was the Rule 5 and why'd you turn it off? The Rule 5, the NHL equivalent would be, hey, you're allowed to select an AHL level player off of another team, but you have to play him in the majors. It's a draft that only has to do with already established players. Whereas we are focused on the entry draft. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? David Guardado. There's Chu Song. I wanted to move him over, but I cannot. I keep forgetting. First base, Fred Finney. And we'll also, again, look at Chu Song. So let's change one of those over to first base. First base. Another win. Couple of wins this week. And then somebody got hurt. Hopefully not anybody overly important. It was a fractured leg for Miguel de los Santos, who is one of our random filler players. All right, Fred Finney does not appear to be him. A couple of these guys aren't looking that great so far. Let's see. We also have... Let's go for Jose Arocha. We'll put Waylon Travis there. And Nelson Kim. Waylon Travis out of California. Starting in 2/3. Let's go for that. Beautiful. So far, so good. Well, we beat Oakland 1-0 and then lost to them the next day 11-0. So that's interesting. All right, Nelson Kim, Jose Arocha looking good. And again, we can go off of position of need as a tiebreaker a little bit later on. Let's go for Bradford. Let's get Juan Guerrero in there. Get a little bit of information about Antonio Santana, who was a first baseman. There we go. All right. So far, it's a little bit promising. Obviously, we haven't really gotten down to the nitty-gritty yet. But yeah, we have... Wow, we just beat the Dodgers. We have to be right about this. I don't know if we'll scout on any of those guys to 100%. But this is looking like a very promising draft. We got Bobby Golden. Who else do we have? We have Will Wilga. Wilga. And Freddie Fox is a starter. Let's get the left fielder in there. Let's see. Still losing a lot of games, which is all right. All right, Freddie Fox jumped up to number 6. 50% scouted, though. Go check the progress on those relievers. Thank you. Ramos, though, man. He is looking very promising. We have Thomas Pruitt. Again, we're going to look at every single player who's projected to go in the first round. Let's look at Keith Marrero as a shortstop and Steve Varela. There we go. Wilga sounds like a slur for a race that doesn't exist. Yeah, kind of does, doesn't it? Kind of does. All right, none of these guys are really jumping up the draft board all that much, which is a little bit scary, but at the same time, it also means we'll have an easier decision from the looks of it. Let's add Edgar Tejera, the left fielder, and Jason McCormick. All right. We are 48 days out from the drafts. 11 wins on the season. Woof. All right, we did have a jump up there for Felipe Alonso. Nobody else really taking that step forward, according to our scouts. Let's just keep going. We almost have the first round fully scouted, at least the projected first round. And then from there, we start looking at players a little bit more in depth. Mariano Calderon is there at second base. A lot of pitchers, as you would suspect, in the first round. We'll look at Isaiah Crowder. Going to be under 40 days. 34 to be exact. Oof, yeah, see, like Crowder really fell off. Okay. The big question is, too, how much do we scout out the dudes who are projected like 31 through 35? Because we've seen it. They can jump up pretty far. Let's see, we got a Sparza. Whole lot of pitchers. There is catcher Ivan Nieve, if you prefer. In game, they say Nieve, so I'll trust him. Carvajal, 2 relievers, and a catcher. I think next week might be the first week we start focusing on individuals. Cal Raleigh traded to Cincinnati for Cam Collier and Matt McLean. That's a pretty solid deal. Cam Collier looks like a beast. Yeah, no one else is really jumping up that draft board. Draft has loved players projected in the 40th. That's true. Mike, what's going on? It's been a while. It's been a while. I hope you're well. Good to see you. I am going to check team-rated prospects next, yes. All right. Still a lot of guys in that conversation. What week are we in? 11? Oh, we don't really have that much time. And our scouts don't really have anybody in the conversation who's way down the draft board. Let's start looking at the best here. Back in an MLB grind, I hear you. I hear you. Okay. I mean, God, based on what we know about Henry Ramos, that guy is going to be amazing. But first overall for a closer, not quite. Let's start looking at the best of the best. I want full info on these guys. I want full info on them. A closer and 2 shortstops. This might be the year that we get our shortstop, which would be nice. I mean, we do technically have Flores and Calderon at shortstop, but neither are the potential generational talents. Ooh, it dropped Marlin down to 15th and dropped Hurley down to 25th. Never mind. Never mind about those shortstops, huh? That's rough. Well, we have Ramos 100% scouted. Let's look at Elijah Baisley, Juan Guerrero, the first baseman, and David Guardado. All of a sudden, I am very nervous about this draft. It looks like it could be a minefield. Mike, I am. I'm really enjoying this game. All right, Baisley dropped down to 19th, and he's hurt, but our scouts do like Guardado and Guerrero, especially Guerrero. Ooh, AJ, what's up? I'm doing good. And that doesn't surprise me. Okay. Really quickly. I do want full information on Guardado. I want 100% information on Aaron Ramirez as well. I want to know exactly what we're working with. It now has Nelson Kim in the top 5 because others have fallen off. We only have one more week. Oh, I am horrified that we're going to get this wrong. So many of the dudes who were projected high up just started to fall off. Ryan Helsley traded for Matt Tice, David Hamilton. Oh no, we might have tried to look at too many people and now we don't have time. Our scouts really like Juan Guerrero. I really like Juan Guerrero. That might be the guy. That might be the guy. It dropped Nelson Kim down to 13. Okay. It has Felipe Alonso, who we need to know more about. Born in Oklahoma, nothing to play there but Baybaugh. Boomer Sooner, baby. There's Jose Roja. However, he is injured. I don't know if we'd risk it on him. There's Freddie Fox as another starting pitcher. We don't know enough about him. I would have to look at someone else with that particular scout. Who's the next best position player? It's Will Wilga. But then there's also Fred Finney. We only have one more pick. Alonso certainly doesn't look bad. Freddie Fox looks like he could be awesome depending on the full scouted info. Again, we'll avoid Jose Roca. There's Zambrano as a closer, but I'm not taking a closer first overall. That was to get information for the second round. Will Wilga. He's only 45% scouted. I mean, obviously at the plate, he's awesome, but I'm worried about him defensively. I mean, obviously, if he had the fielding and the arm strength, he's first overall, easily. There's Bobby Golden, who also looks like he could be pretty decent. Fred Finney. Fred Finney. As a first baseman. And then there's Nelson Kim, who sucks. Okay, so Finney, Golden, Wilga. And then there's these two. Fuck. We can only look at 3 of these guys, and then it's draft time. So the reason why we have to get this right is if we don't, like, we need to see if anyone can possibly rival Juan Guerrero. We have to get this right in terms of the players we choose to look at. We're going to look at Wilga. We're going to look at the position players. Wilga, Finney, and Nelson Kim's already looked at. We can add one starter, and obviously that starter should be the guy who's currently ranked the highest. That is Felipe Alonso. So starter, first, and left. Okay. To the drafts we go in 2027. Our scouts have first baseman Juan Guerrero listed as the best player in this draft. And it's tough to disagree. He's not a great fielder, obviously, and will never be. But his hitting potential could be outstanding. There's a closer in Henry Ramos. Honestly, we already have quite a few relievers. If he's there in round 2, cool. We're not taking him here, obviously. Our scouts really like Will Wilga. I just don't see it. I don't. I mean, yes, he has the contact, the vision, the discipline, the speed. But, man, he'd have to be a DH. Like, he's so below average in the outfield. He would have to be a DH. And if you're trusting anybody to be a DH, it's Juan Guerrero. There's Freddie Fox. We don't know enough about him. There's Rocco. We don't know enough about him. There was Aaron Ramirez, who does look pretty good, but some of the low ends of those future ranges, pitch control, walks per 9, those scare me a little bit. And then everybody else, position player-wise, Finney, Kim, Don Marlin, they all fell off. I think we have our guy. I think we have our guy, chat. I think we do. For the first time since this started, again, Season 1, the Pirates do get the lottery. But for the first time since really getting this franchise mode going, we have the #1 overall pick. And that man is going to be the 19-year-old first baseman out of Oklahoma, Juan Guerrero. And let's fucking hope we're right, huh? Let's hope our scouts are right. The pressure of getting it right with the #1 overall pick is the best, but also the worst. Are we right about Juan Guerrero? We're going to find out. Going to change his number to #1. We might. We might. So, second overall, the Detroit Tigers take starting pitcher Freddie Fox. I mean, again, I do hope that we end up with some starting pitching. If not this year, then next. But this wasn't the year to do it. This wasn't the year to do it. Damn. Third overall, the Miami Marlins select starting pitcher Elijah Baisley, who our scouts said to avoid, and we do. So they do not take Don Marlin. We'll still watch through the first round just to see what type of reaches are out there. Colorado at 4 may have been handed a gem. They take starting pitcher Chu Song, who is top 10 projected, but our scouts said do not take in the first round, at least through 50% scouted. Aaron Ramirez goes 5th to Washington. It's a starting pitcher. Again, not bad. Not bad at all. At 5, the San Francisco Giants take third baseman Nelson Kim. I don't know how I'd feel about that pick. Kansas City at 7 takes the shortstop, Donnie Marlin, who I really thought might have been the guy for us, but then we got him 100% scouted, and there was just no way. Oakland at 8 takes starting pitcher Jose Roja, who was injured, which is why we did not scout him more fully. Houston, by the way, at 9. They take shortstop J.J. Hurley. How good are our scouts? They haven't been bad. How accurate are scouts? They can be accurate, but they can also be completely wrong. It's just how the game works. At 10, David Guardado, starting pitcher. He's off to Texas. The Angels select left fielder Will Wilga, the 11th overall pick. But again, attribute-wise, I wasn't digging it. I wasn't. The Boston Red Sox at 12 take first baseman Fred Finney. We were looking at for a little bit of time at least. Minnesota at 13 goes a little bit off the board to take second baseman Mariano Calderon. Yeah. Blue Jays at 14 take starting pitcher Felipe Alonso. Doesn't look that bad. Could be a really good pick for them. Chicago Cubs at 15 take starting pitcher Isaac Crowder. Either our scouts are wrong or their scouts are very wrong to select him 15th. At 16, the Dodgers take starting pitcher Bobby Golden, which is a great name. And at 17, the Mets take third baseman Waylon Jennings Travis. You got Arizona at 18. They take closer Henry Ramos, so he does go in the first round. I'm not surprised. 18th overall for closer Henry Ramos. The Reds at 19 take starting pitcher Luis Pedroza. And the Tampa Bay Rays at 20 take shortstop Keith Marrero, who again, either everyone else's scouts are like way off, or our scouts are wrong. Are wrong. Left fielder Rich Vince Russo goes 21st. Huh. So I figured that the Rule 5 draft tells you whether or not you won the lottery. Oh, did it really? Cool. Well, there you go. Oh, did those results actually line up? Because I figured those were just like, hey, based on standings. Shout out to Rich Russo. 78th projected. Seattle at 22 takes Theo DeMille, who's projected 57th. White Sox take left fielder Edgar Tejera. Some of these picks, man. San Diego at 24 get the other closer, Alex Zambrano, son of Carlos. Philadelphia 25, starting pitcher Jason McCormick. Endo, what's up? At 26, starting pitcher Johnny Mora goes to Atlanta. At 27, Tate O'Lear, starting pitcher on his way to Milwaukee. The Yankees at 28, another Marlin, the Marlin brothers. Right fielder Greg Marlin, whose potential looks amazing, but we barely scouted him. 29, the runners-up, the Cardinals take center fielder Eric Gonzalez, a big reach, to say the least. I have a feeling we may have flubbed this. We might have. And at 30, your world champion Baltimore Orioles select second baseman Estevan Reyes, son of Jose. So we do not have a competitive balance pick, but we do have the first pick of the second round. I'm going to go ahead and sim that. So it was Thomas Esparza, Sean Bradford, George Carvajal, Mariano Santos, Brian Crum, Leonardo Hernandez, Antonio Santana, and Dave Chang. Leaving us with, okay, a couple of options. We need to, oh boy, we don't know anything about Henry Guerra. It was Neve. We don't know anything about Mitch Luis, Saul Crespo. So there are a couple of guys that we have information on, and if it's not one of them, then we're in best guess territory. Yeah, so let's take a look. at these three dudes. There's Steve Varela as a reliever. I'm not sold. Only 50% scouted. Got to be honest, I'm not entirely sold. There's another reliever, Thomas Pruitt, who's about the same. And then there's the catcher, Ivan Neve, which, as a defense-first catcher, the promise is there, but he is only 45% scouted. We got 2.5 minutes, and I got to be honest, I don't know if I'm sold on any of these guys. Right now, I'd lean towards Neve over another half-decent reliever. But then again, we do have a catcher as well. So again, the information, the attributes, that's just nothing we can go off of. So Henry Guerrero's there. I mean, all we can do is go off of the little bit of information that is out there. I mean, a lot of these guys are only like 5% scouted. This is a rough time to be in this scenario. Being in this scenario this early. I mean, we did just bring in a Steiner, and this spells disaster for us at Sacrifice. I did see that last pitcher was 23. There's Brian Ortega. Tejada. Okay. Okay. So again, Henry Guerrero only 5% scouted. I gotta do this fast because we only have a minute and a half. We only have a minute and a half, so I'm not going to be able to give you guys much time to look at things for yourself. Guerrero's 18. Best potential is Gomez, 10% scouted. Best potential so far, but at 23 years old, he looks like he is going to suck. So it's not him. Okay, if we were to go for anybody, it would be that first dude. Giordano and Tejada. Both toss-ups. Probably go for Tejada. There's Bill Saul at catcher, who could be a decent hitter and with a decent arm. That's promising. Ortega could be a decent power guy. Field, Clyde Winters, I don't like him. Burgos, don't like him. Tom Park. Tom Park looks very well-rounded. Switch hitting center fielder. We don't know much about him. It's one of these three. We do have players in this position already. Bill Saul, those ranges are very low. 9 seconds. Well, we took Steve Varela. I meant to take Neve at the end, and I hit the wrong button. I gotta be honest, it probably doesn't even fucking matter. There wasn't anyone who was dead set. We get the reliever, Steve Varela. I don't hate it. Fuck. It just sucks because I couldn't hit up in time. It was very close. So yeah, we'll see if that works out for us. Steve, I wanted you the whole time. I wanted you the whole time. Don't worry about it. Those second round choices are going to be interesting. Competitive balance round B. We are on the board again, and there is nobody left that we have any information on, really. Tejada's still there. Is there anyone else with like a crazy high potential? I mean, there's like the 72 to 96 option. Oh, boy. Scott Obama. You know, I haven't really been looking at names, but Scott Obama alongside Deacon Shapiro. Now that I'm looking at names really quickly, I mean, Mac Latch is also a good one. Fucking Scott Obama is an all-time name. There's also Quezada as a first baseman. I won't be surprised if that second round pick was a huge, huge mistake, unfortunately, but It is what it is. 72 to 96. Hold on. So again, Tejada has that crazy possible potential. He's only 10% scouted. And again, we're so low on scouting information. We don't have a second baseman yet. Ah, fuck it. Scott Obama. Welcome aboard. We actually do have second baseman. It was third baseman. Bring him in. Let's bring in Scott Obama. Fuck it. Fuck it. We actually have back-to-back picks, so that's perfect. That'll give me a little bit more time. Gutierrez wouldn't be the worst option because we don't have a third baseman. Willie Manuel's a starter. Looks abysmal. Quezada might have some power. Ott might not be the worst outfielder in the world. Or Tejada. I'm going to go for Tejada, I think. Do we need another reliever? We really don't, based off of who we have. Let's go for Ruben Ott. Left fielder. Again, we're in best guess territory. We do not have any information on these guys. Tejada's probably better, but we're going to draft for need as opposed to position. Let's go for Ruben Ott with this pick. And we're just hoping to get lucky. And then, bam, Rick Gutierrez. We will finally bring in, hopefully, a third baseman, unless he also rejects signing with us. Brings us to round number 5. Oh, God. At this point, we're pretty much looking for names. So what we're going to do is look at dudes who have listed potentials that aren't trash. And then we'll see who has the best look, the best name. Let that be our tiebreaker. Well, Israel Gutierrez is probably the guy. Chad Dean. There are a couple of guys with some interesting potentials here. Jack Bullington. All right, well, clearly there were 3 dudes with potentials who were above the rest. And we can try to end up with 2 of them. It's either Gutierrez, who's projected 170, 173, 190. We should be able to get 2 out of 3. My hope for Bullington is that he's available a little bit later on. None of these guys look all that great. Another third baseman to compete with the other Gutierrez that we took wouldn't be that bad. Or we could go for this Gutierrez and say that we took the Gutierrez brothers. But I mean, 85 to 99. I mean, I know they're 22, but damn. Yeah, I think we're going to go for Chad Dean at third base. We got to get another third baseman into the system. Welcome aboard, Chad Dean. And we're going to take Jack Bullington. Or are we? Let's go for the brothers. Screw it. We already have 3 first basemen. This will be our 3rd shortstop. Let's go for Israel Gutierrez. Best guess. Best guess is all we can do. Except for that first overall pick. Did we get it right? That is the $1 million question.